circuit diagram shown here is two-stage cascaded common emitter amplifier. Here we have made small modifications. It's nothing but we are included an unbypassed RE in the second stage emitter to ground terminal. Similarly, a feedback resistor is connected between the emitter of second transistor and the base of the first transistor. I am saying this is one of the example of current shunt feedback amplifier. To justify this and make analysis, you have to perform a 7 steps. For that, we are moving to the first step, identifying the topology. Okay, for identifying the topology, we have to analyze two type of networks. One in the output side, other one is the input side. In the output side, we usually check the what type of sampling happens. Similarly, in the input side, we check what type of mixing happens. Usually, the feedback amplifiers consist of 3 networks. One is sampling network, second is mixing network, third is feedback network. So here in this circuit, the feedback network comprises of 2 resistances, RF and RE2. Emitter resistance of second transistor and the feedback resistance RF. These 2 resistors are going to make a feedback network. Okay, so remaining 2 networks we have to find out here by doing some normal procedures. Step 1, identification of topology. First step, we find the sampling parameter. Here, so this is the output voltage. In the collector terminal, we are getting the output. But if I make this pin as ground, nothing will be affected because the current flows. The current flows through the emitter happens. Hence, this by shorting the output voltage is not a good solution. Hence, we go for the second option, that is opening the output loop. Okay. So here we have an output circuit. So this is the output circuit. I am going to break this loop, the output loop. Hence, I0 becomes as 0. Okay. So I0 becomes as 0. What is I0? I0 is equal to minus IE2. IE2 or IE. Okay. So the emitter's current is opposite to I0. Hence, we provide I0 is equal to minus IE2. But we have 2 resistor network. Hence, we are going to use the current divider rule. Hence, I get IF. IF is the feedback current. IF is equal to IE into RE2 by RE2 plus RF. Okay. Okay. The entire network. Now, I0 becomes as 0 means IE2 also becomes as, both becomes as 0. Hence, I can say IF also becomes as 0. From this, I can conclude that the sampling is done here is current sampling. Similarly, what type of mixing happens here is the feedback current only provided to the input side. So what happens is the input current II is obtained from subtracting feedback current from the source current. Okay, so hence in the analysis part we find using this technique that IF, the feedback current, is subtracted from IS, means that type of mixing is called shunt mixing. Also you can see the current feedback is connected in a shunt manner, hence I can say it is a shunt mixing. So the first step we have completed. In the first step what we have seen is the what type of sampling is used. For that we have opened the output loop, hence I0 becomes as 0. So since the I0 becomes as 0, IF is also becomes as 0, hence it is current sampling. In the type of mixing, so here we are taking the current feedback, so the current sample. So the current sample is fed back to the input side as a shunt manner, shunt connection. Hence we can say it is a shunt type of mixing. Step 2, finding the input circuit. In the steps 2, we have to find the input circuit. For that, we have to follow some steps. Means, if it is a current sampling, we do some operations. If it is voltage sampling, means we do some operations. But we have identified that the amplifier is of current sampling. Hence, we perform the output current. As we did in the step 1, we have to make the same step here. Setting I0 is equal to 0. That means opening the output loop, output current loop. Hence, RF appears in series with RE2. When I make I0 is equal to 0, I cut down the entire circuitry here. So the entire circuitry becomes a 0. So here also IE2 becomes a 0. Hence we have a series combination of RF and RE2 in the input side. So these two resistors becomes affected on the input side. Hence the circuit becomes like this. Okay, this is the source voltage and the source resistance. So in that input side, we are bringing the emitter resistance of second transistor here. Both are in series. Okay, this forms the input circuit. Step 3, finding the output circuit. In step 3, we are going to make some alterations in the input side and finding the output circuit. For that, we need to check what type of mixing happens in the circuit. Already in step 1, we have found that shunt mixing is going to happen. Hence, for shunt mixing means we have to make Vi is equal to 0. Input voltage, we should make it as ground. That means shorting the input to the ground. Hence, the RF is not have any effect in the input side. So this is the circuit. Here the input voltage is grounded. So this input voltage is grounded. So this is isolated. At this terminal is also grounded. Grounded means we have these two resistors in the output side. Both are in parallel connection. Hence we redraw this circuit as the modified circuit. So Vi made as 0. That means all the things are grounded here. So RE2 and RF becomes as a parallel resistor network in the output side. Okay, so here what we do, we set Vi is equal to 0, and by shorting the input, then this RF is placed in a parallel with the RE2. Okay, so now we have designed in step 2 the input circuit, and in step 3 output circuit. Step 4, drawing the equivalent circuit for the given circuit diagram. To draw the equivalent circuit, first we have to consider the input circuit. In the input circuit, we have a voltage source. Here we need to convert this voltage source into the current source using the Norton's equivalent. For this, we are making the series resistance into parallel resistance with current source. So this can be modified as the current source along with the parallel resistance RS. So remaining things, the input side we had a series combination of RF and RE2 that is placed here in the equivalent circuit. So this is the transistor's internal base to emitter resistance HIE, otherwise written as R pi. So the potential available between these two terminals is V pi. Okay, so this is nothing but RI1. I am fixing the entire input resistance is Ri. So this RS and series combination of RF and RE2, the parallel combination of this resistance and series of this both are combined, and I'm naming the entire resistance as R. Okay, right. Up to this, the input circuit is over. We come to the output side. Before that, we have an intermediate thing. That is, here we are using a two-stage amplifier. So for the first stage, output is the collector terminal. We have a current generator here. We had a collector resistance RC1 here. The current flows. The collector current for transistor 1 is flow here. So both are connected here. The collector of the first transistor and the base of the second transistor connected. Hence, we have to make the connection to base of the second transistor. In the base of the second transistor, we have a emitter resistance that is parallel with the feedback resistance RF. Hence, we make a parallel combination of RE2 and RF. These both combinedly called as RI2. Resistance RI2 is the output side. The output side we have the RE2, RF as parallel combination. In the collector side, we have RC2. The RC2 is going to act as a load resistance for the this type of amplifier. Okay, hence it is drawn here. So this is the entire equivalent circuit for the two-stage common emitter feedback amplifier. Step 5, finding the open loop gain of the amplifier. In step 5, we are going to find the open loop gain A. So since it is a input side, also we have the current source. In the output side also we have the current sampling. Hence we perform the gain of current gain. Current gain we are going to calculate A, capital I. So what is the current gain? It can be found using intermediate gains. So IC2, the output side. I am coming from output side to input side. In the output side we had the current ratio IC2 by IB2. This is between second stage and first stage. IB2 by IC1 into IC1 by IB2, first transistor's current ratio. and finally we have the base transistors, first transistor base and source current. Okay, individually we have to calculate these values, we have to place into the AI. Here we know that the second stage current gain AI2 is nothing but IC2 by IB2. We can directly get the value from HFE of the transistor. Similarly, in the first stage also we perform IC1 by IB1 is nothing but HFE. The HFE of the transistor can be taken as the gain value. The third, IB2 by IC1. For that we need to take the intermediate stage between first transistor and second transistor. So using current divider rule, we can write it as IB2 by IC1 is equal to minus RC1 by RC1 plus RI2. So the RI2 is nothing but the internal input resistance of the second transistor plus the 1 plus HFE into the parallel combination of RE2 and RF. The last one, the current ratio IB1 by IS, this is also using the current divider rule. I can write IB1 by IS is equal to R by R plus HIE. So R is nothing but the parallel combination of RS plus series of RF plus RE2. Okay, right, here it is written. Totally we have found the 4 current ratios. We have to multiply all the things, we can find the AI value using this expression. That's all about the step 5.
Step 6, finding the gain of the feedback network beta.
In step 6, we have to find the feedback gain beta. So here also we use the current divider rule. So IF is the current flows into the emitter resistance of second transistor. So hence it is opposite. We are providing a minus symbol here. So the as per current divider rule, I can write as IE into RE2 plus by RE2 plus RF. So what we approximate the collector current is equal to emitter current, because IB is usually smaller in value. So we replace IE with IC. Finally, what is minus IC? The minus IC can be, the entire term minus IC can be written as I0. So finally, I can conclude IF is equal to I0 into RE2 by RE2 plus RF. Okay. So what is the beta value? The beta value is equal to the feedback signal is also current feedback. Sampling is also current. Hence we find the feedback gain as IF by I0. So the I0 brought to the left hand side becomes as denominator. So remaining term is RE2 by RE2 plus RF. Okay, so this is the beta value, feedback gain value.
Step 7, it is a final step. Here we calculate desensitivity factor, current gain, voltage gain, overall current gain and voltage gain, input resistance with feedback and output resistance with feedback.
In step 7, we are going to find desensitivity factor, input resistance with without feedback, with feedback, then current gain with feedback, voltage gain with feedback, output resistance with feedback. Finally, considering the load, we have to find the output resistance with feedback. Okay. For that, first we have to find the D. D is equal to 1 plus beta into AI. So this is derived from the topic effect of input on output resistance of current shunt feedback amplifier. You may check in my previous videos. So from this I can find the same current gain with feedback is equal to without feedback current gain divided by the desensitivity factor. So once I found AIF, I can easily found the voltage gain with feedback. So that is equal to V0 by Vs. What is V0? In the output side we have the collector current and the load resistance along with minus symbol. In the input side Vs can be written as Is into Rs. So what is this entire term can be written as AIF into RC2 by Rs. Okay. The next parameter is finding the input resistance. Ri is nothing but the parallel combination of R and HIE. So already we know R is equal to, the R can be written as R is equal to Rs parallel to Rf plus Re2. Okay. So this resistance is parallel with the input resistance, input base to emitter resistance of the first transistor. So this is Ri. So the final thing is Rif is nothing but Ri by D, because it is a shunt type of mixing. Hence usually we divide by the desensitivity factor. The next parameter we find is output resistance. So generally for common emitter amplifier, output resistance considers infinity because of the early voltage effect. Hence ROF is nothing but the product of the output resistance into desensitivity factor. Already we know R0 is equal to infinity. Hence ROF also gives the infinity value. The next step, we have to find the RO dash. The RO dash is nothing but the parallel combination of R0 and load resistance. Here the load resistance is nothing but the collector resistance of the second transistor. So by making infinity parallel with RC2, finally we get RC2 value. Till now we have explained all the current gain independent of load. Now we are going to consider the load resistance. For that load resistance, what is the current gain? We are going to find out. AI, we are limiting the factor RC2 is equal to 0. We are applying the limit to the AI value since AI does not contain any RC2 value. You can see here it is the common expression. Here we have found out individual current ratios. You cannot find any RC2 value here. Okay, so there will be no RC2 present. Hence, when we apply the limitation of, hence we apply any limitation RC2 tends to 0. So the same AI will we get. Okay, the same considering the load, considering no load, both will become a same value. Hence, for finding the ROF dash, we can easily substitute 1 plus beta A small I with 1 plus beta A capital I. Both are same value. We can cancel, both get cancelled. Finally, we get RO dash. So ROF dash becomes as RO dash. Already we found out what is RO dash. RO dash is nothing but RC2. Hence, finally, we can write ROF dash is equal to RO dash, nothing but RC2. So up to this, we are completing the 7 steps for analysis of current shunt feedback amplifier. Thank you for watching.